Hello, this is Dr. Carolyn with the Dr. Carolyn Show. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another fantastic week, another amazing show. Your lives, again, will never be the same after watching today's lineup. And so I want to do the same thing I always do every week. I need a roll call. So go ahead and let me know what state you're from, what country you're dialing in from, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook Live. I need to know your state. I need to know your city. So go ahead and do the roll call so we are able to respond to you during the broadcast. And so we are so excited that you have joined us week after week after week. We've had Brazil, we've had China, the Bahamas, Jamaica, North Carolina, San Diego, Florida. We had so many states that have joined us over the past few weeks, and we're just really excited. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for tweeting out Dr. Carolyn Show. That's DrCarolyn Show, and hashtag that. And I want you to also be live streaming and letting people know to join the show. This is going to be awesome. Today we're talking about leadership. We're talking about purpose. And I know there's been a lot of news stories recently in the news about leadership and about those who are leading our country, leading other countries. And, you know, you've heard some scandals in corporate America with leaders who are fallen, also in the church world, in education, just a plethora of things surrounding leadership. It has become like watered down. People who are in leadership positions no longer think that they have to live a certain way or have a certain character, but you do. You actually have to set yourself apart when you're striving and going towards the road for leadership, because if you are a leader, that means someone is watching you because you have followers. If you're a leader and you have no one following you, you're just taking a walk in the park. So today, we're going to be talking about authentic leadership, true leadership. We have three phenomenal leaders who will be speaking today about their journey to leadership and how they came into understanding their purpose, that they were called to lead, because leadership is a role that can be very lonely at times because you don't really know who to trust. And so today we're going to be talking to those who have paved the way, who have stepped into a position of leadership, very successful, leading organizations, and are running a business, running an organization. And trust me, if you are desiring to own your own business or to start a ministry or to go into network marketing or to build a school, we have someone on the show today who can help and teach you just how to do that. And so, you know, life is a journey. It is not a final destination. So it is for leadership. It is a journey. Sometimes you are up and sometimes you are down. So we're going to tell you today about some struggles that some of our leaders may have had as they went along the path, as they went along the journey. But guess what? Today they are here to share their story, to let you know that your current circumstances today that you are going through does not define your destiny, because there's always a brighter day and there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And so today's topic is about presidents with purpose. So we're talking to leaders who are presidents of organizations, and it's about leadership on the line. I want to answer that question as we're talking today to the guest and audience. You can tweet your questions, you can hashtag them, you can also put them on the Facebook feed, on the YouTube comments, for those of you that are watching us through the YouTube channel. And we'll be able to answer your questions throughout this broadcast. So today we have an awesome lineup of individuals who will be sharing their awesome story. You know, notice I love the word awesome. Awesome sauce, awesomeness. I use that quite a bit. The young people use the word awesome, so I just stay awesome so I can stay young. You know, I'll be my age looking like this for the rest of my life. That's a decree. All right. So I want to share with you today that we had our very first guest who was going to be joining us. That was Dr. Dorothy Buchanan Wilson. She is the president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and she's the international president, not just a national president, but international, for an organization that she has led over 300,000 women. And leading women is a challenge in and of itself. Leading 5 is a challenge. Can you imagine leading such an astute organization with so many diverse backgrounds and personalities? But she managed to have been leading this organization for 3 years, and she's always held leadership roles. Unfortunately, she had an emergency and is not able to join us today, but she will be joining us in our upcoming show because this leadership series is a part 3. And so tonight we have part 1. So we just wish her all the best and pray that she'll have a speedy recovery and that she'll be able to join us and share her awesomeness that she has with us in one of the upcoming shows about leadership and about purpose, because leadership is a big topic. I can't just cover that in just one show today. And so we will be covering other leaders in other sectors in media. We'll be interviewing one of the vice presidents of NBC Chicago, as well as Chicago State University president, and just other leaders such as the wonderful ones that we have today. So our very first guest today hails all the way from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. He is a bishop, he is a doctor, he's a father, he's a husband, he's also an excellent leader. He is from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. He is the president of Christian International, and in and of itself, the name says international organization that handles and oversees churches. He also has school, he has training, he has products and services. They also have a leadership gathering that we have. We also have gathering for the millennials and the centennials, and he oversees at any given day, he's probably touching lives of millions, because even though he oversees thousands of churches all over the world, he also is touching the lives of those people within those congregations. But today he's going to be joining us and talking about purpose and talking about leadership. He has a spectrum of things that he could be sharing about today because he's multifaceted. In fact, he could speak to any sphere of influence, whether it's politics, government, media, family, entertainment. He covers all that he's been overseeing for his 20 years of life. He likes to think that he's so young. I want to welcome I want to welcome right now, Dr. Bill Hamon. Welcome, Dr. Hamon. How are you?
Oh, doing great. Joy to be with you, Dr. Carolyn.
Awesome. Awesome. So it is so amazing to have you. You are breaking ground. You are still going forward like the young man that you are. I mean, I got off the plane a few hours ago, and I'm so delighted that you're able to join us live and in person. Yeah, I was with you in Chicago a few weeks ago, and we did a video there, but it's so much better to have you live and in person because you are just so loved. When I told people you were going to be on the show, they got so very excited because they know you're probably going to tell a joke or two because you're a funny father, funny man. So they were so excited. So I want to talk to you today, and I want people to get to know Dr. Bill Hamon, the man that has talked about purpose, the leader, the fearless leader that you are. So give people just a quick history of who you are, where you reside, and where your ministry and your headquarters is, so they can get to know you just a little bit more.
Yes. Well, our headquarters is on 80 acres in it's between Panama City and Destin, Florida. It's called Santa Rosa Beach. It's just an area. But I just celebrated my 83rd birthday in 64 years of leadership ministry in the body of Christ. And I just came from China, and they even went up to the Great Wall. And we have over 4,000 churches and ministers around the world, and about 1,000 in the United States. But you learn a lot working with ministers. You know, they're a unique group of people. But I work with business people and all kinds of people. When I go to the nations, I minister to presidents and things of this nature. And one thing I found about leadership, you really have to have a purpose. You know, everything, if it's fulfilling its purpose, then it's going to be successful. You know, if you're a car, you got to run like a car. You can't be a donkey, you know, and whatever it is. And when I've discovered my purpose, you know, I ministered for 30 years, you know, pastored for 5 years, and traveled for 3 years, taught in Bible college and built Christian National undergraduate and graduate college over 14 years. And, you know, but I tell people my first 30 years of ministry and experience really prepared me for the next 30 plus years. And because, you know, God has to prepare leaders. You can be born with a certain amount of traits, and I'm an high personality, and I love to talk and motivate people. And my style of leadership is transformational. I sell people on the idea. I want to motivate them. I like what Jesus said, he that's master of all must be servant of all. So I minister to people, I pray for people, and you gain respect when you bless people, when you give yourself for other people. And the Lord told me when he blessed me with that anointing back in 1973, he said, teach them everything you know, give them everything you have, and raise everybody up to your level. Then he said, if you bring everybody up to your level, then I'll take you higher. Then bring them up to your level, and I'll take you higher. Bring them up to your level, and I'll take you higher. So that's what I've done with over 300,000 around the world. I have over 50 board of governors that work intimately with me, and we give ourselves. We serve, love, and bless, and challenge. And my greatest passion is to help everybody find their purpose, find their meaning, and then help them fulfill it.
Right. Very good. And you said something that really is I'm writing a book about the 10 laws of leadership. And it's kind of in like the commandments, but just how different leaders lead different way. And I have interviews for different individuals and their leadership styles. And you said something about when you bring people to your level, then you can get to go to another level. And that's true, authentic leadership. Yes. I recognize that that's missing today in the business sector, also, and actually in any platform that you can think of, where there seems to be more a competition, where some of the older generation are afraid of the younger or the middle-aged generation to mentor them, to father or to mother them, to bring them into a place of true leadership, because the baton has to be passed. It cannot be held into the hands. And so when you said that, so I know you've led so many different leaders. You're a leader of leaders. So leaders will come to you who are leading other people, and they come to you for guidance. So one of the things that
I told all my children, my two boys, my oldest son's a CEO of all of our ministries, and my second son and his wife pastor our headquarters church for 34 years, and my daughter's an administrator and a manager of the office. They're all working with me full time. The 3 children, 11 grandchildren, and 17 great grandchildren. And but when you give yourself to other people, you help them rise up. But I told them all, I expect you to do twice as much as I do in my lifetime, but you're never going to win by default, because I'm never going to stop running. You just flat have to catch me and pass me. But when I catch me and pass me, I'll say, there goes my son, there goes my daughter, there goes my minister. And so the greatest joy of a parent is to see their children fulfilled. The greatest joy of a leader is to see those under him come into ministry and outdo you. I mean, the joy is to see them be able to accomplish more than you do and fulfill more than you do. And you know that you help them do it and help them fulfill it. And you automatically gain the respect and honor. And I gain respect and honor around the world, but I don't try to berate people or demand. I lead them and inspire them and motivate them, and they joyfully follow.
Absolutely, because leadership is a behavior. It's not just a title. People, you can have a leadership and a name and a title, but if your character pretty much is, deflated or sucks really, then people are not going to want to follow that. And so in essence, what you have done is led by your character, led by your behavior. It's so difficult when you have fallen, and it's different from being, some people have issues, you get ups and downs, there's marital problems. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when there is an intentional wrongdoing when you're a leader of many followers. It kind of really hit hard for people when they're following you, whether they're in the church or in business or in politics, when you hit that bottom. And so you have managed to maintain your character and your name. When I say either Bishop Bill Hamon or Dr. Bill Hamon or just the Hamon family in general, it comes with a certain level of respect. It comes with a certain level of character that's built into the name, because our name is so important. And I know my family and I, we strive to make sure that I will always be authentic. So I have a funny side like you, Bishop. I think I'm a little funnier. No, I'm not. And but I maintain who I am. I never stray away from who I am, but always maintaining my character. So when was that crossroad, that point in your life where you hit rock bottom, or it was a dip for you, and you begin to question your purpose. You know, what am I here for? Because I know you have a book, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, about who am I? And so there has to come, in order for you to write that book, because a book is a story of what you went through. So in order for you to have the story to write about the book, you must have hit a point where it was a crossroad. Can you share that moment with us?
Yeah. A lot of people like to have a testimony, but you first have to have the test before you have the testimony. I can tell you about 3 times my wife and I zeroed out completely, no hope, no future. You know, you feel like turn the gas on, shut the door and the window, goodbye, whole world, goodbye. But I'm telling you about one of them that really was the turning point in my life and really helped me the most. I had bought property in Phoenix, Arizona. I'd moved 10 families out there in Phoenix, Arizona. And we bought this property worth about $250,000, paid $50,000 down. Someone gave me that. And we believe in God to help us pay for it. And I went all that year and no money came in. I preached, prayed, and traveled and worked, and no money came in. And then the payment came due and 90 days extension, and then 30 days, and I had to sign the property back. And it just devastated me. It affected my self-esteem, my ability to be a leader, my ability to be a man of God, ability to be anything, you know. And for 6 months, God wouldn't talk to me. I'd pray and talk to God. He wouldn't talk to me. And I'd have to go to church and preach and pray and minister to people, and they'd get blessed and happy and answer their prayers. I'd go home and crawl in my dungeon, you know, like Elijah did in the Bible.
Right.
But after 6 months, my wife and I had been traveling, and I went out walking one night, and God spoke to me and says, Bill Hamon, you really feel bad because you think you lost all that money. I said, I did, God, I lost that money. And God says, no, you didn't. I said, God, where you been, on vacation? But you know what happened? I lost all that money. I lost that property. And he said, you didn't lose anything. I said, what are you talking about? I lost it. It's gone forever. Right. He said, you didn't lose anything. That was a tuition I paid for your maturity and your wisdom. He said, I can give you land, people, and plans. I can give you success overnight, but I can't give you wisdom and maturity. And I had to take you through this process to develop the wisdom and maturity in you for what I'm going to do for you through the years to come. And that was in 1978 and 79. Then 83, God gave me the vision and the call and the purpose to help restore God's prophets and apostles back into the church today. And that was the calling. And I had to qualify that and get that wisdom and maturity, because he said you're going to be like a freight train and millions of dollars will go through your hands and thousands of lives will be affected. And I want to make sure you can take it and handle it, and you've got the wisdom and maturity for it. So that was the bottom of the barrel. I had to reach and find the bottom.
Yes. Isn't that an amazing story? I know, I see things coming in. The hearts are coming in. I mean, you have just literally set some people free. I can see my producer just clapping along, because that right there, sometimes when you think you've lost, you've actually gained. And sometimes you have to hit really bottom before you can go to the top. I like to give an example of a catapult, or what David would call a slingshot. The farther you are pulled back, the further that thing in the slingshot will go. But if you just get pulled back just a little, it's going to drop right there by your foot. And so David, you know, one of my most favorite stories, would not have been able to take down that giant in his life if he did not pull it further back. And so you went back and back and back until you hit the bottom. And that is the place where God likes to actually talk to you. He likes when you hit rock bottom, because he likes to be needed. And so that is a story that has set many people apart. And from there, you went on to write many books, but your 11th book is the book about the purpose, about who am I? And we have a copy of that cover. It's about talking about who am I? What's my purpose? What on earth am I here for? You know, a lot of people have written books about purpose. I have one about life on purpose, and there's a cover of the book. And for those of you who are looking to understand your true calling, your purpose, your destiny, that really comes from your creator. No one can tell you who you are but him. But he has inspired men and women to write books as a guideline to help to guide you on the path to understanding who you are. And this is one of the books by Dr. Bill Hamon. It can be found at christianinternational.com, and you can get a copy of that. I have that book. I've referenced that book in my book about understanding purpose, because Bishop, like you, I had hit rock bottom after losing twin boys at 5 months gestation. I couldn't understand. I had just became a Christian. I've just found out on Christmas Eve that we were having twin boys. what a blessing to have boys being the first set of people you birth. And 3-4 days later, they were both gone. They died before New Year's Eve. And so I began to question, is there really a God? Because how can a loving God take 2 boys from me, but that same loving God also sent his child just for me? So I had to realize that sometimes you give things up, but that I went into a dark moment, and it was in those dark moments that God told me my purpose, that he was calling me to speak into other people's lives as a prophet. I didn't understand it then, and it took me a while. In fact, your ministry helped me to understand what that truly meant. And so the book that you've written about purpose, you have helped to guide people into their true purpose, because you can't be a leader unless you understand who you are. Right. Otherwise, you'll be leading people down the drain. And so you've written that book, and it has helped people to guide them along the path. And so I know you've gotten a lot of success stories from that book, but just share one of them with us that you've heard when people say, I understood who I was from reading this book, from understanding it, from your teaching, from your leadership. And so we can understand how impactful that book is.
Yeah, so many people don't realize why God created man. God did create man. He had a purpose. He made man. So in that book, I'll cover 8 reasons why God created man. 98% of all Christians or average people, you ask them, why did God create the human race? And they'll say to worship him or to fellowship with him. Well, that's number 7 and number 8. There's 6 before that, more relevant and personal to God. Then answer the question, why did God make man a free moral agent? They're able to say yes or no to God. And why did he put the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in the Garden of Eden? He knew man would end up eating of it. All of that has an answer. All of that has a reason. All of that has a purpose. And when you understand God's purpose for the human race, what he wants to accomplish in the human race, and what he wants to see fulfilled, and what he wanted to get out of the human race, then once you understand that, you kind of understand Romans 8:28 and 29. All things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose. And verse 29 says the purpose is to be conformed to the image of Jesus Christ. So what God wanted was a race of mankind like God, in God's image and likeness that he made man. Adam and Eve failed, but Jesus came 4,000 years later and started a new race with Jew and Gentile called the church race. And he's going to have a people that are just like him. And Jesus was the personification of God. So I don't try to be like God. He's almighty, eternal, fills the universe. But I can be like the man, Christ Jesus, that was the very manifestation, personification of God. So once you understand, certain things have to happen in your life. Certain things you got to go through. Certain things got to be done. And God's just not out to give you a bed of roses. Earth is a place where man is prepared for eternity. And heaven's, I tell people, heaven's not a good place to prepare the bride, because you got to learn forgiveness. You got to learn mercy. You got to learn long suffering. And I said, surely there won't be anybody in heaven that you have to forgive. One lady spoke up and said, well, my husband's going to be there. So, well, you better get forgiveness for him before you get to
Right. You're so funny. Thank you so much. That is so amazing. So we want to thank you so much for joining us, and hang on, because we have questions that will be coming up for you at the end of the broadcast. And we appreciate your leadership. We appreciate so much the work that you are doing, and truly, really, to set in the pace for leaders, how they should just be authentic. I mean, I love how you make us laugh all the time, because sometimes people have the misconception that when you're Christian, you're tight and you're stiff, and no one wants to be on that side of the fence. I know I didn't. I'm like, I don't want to be like them, because I'm happy over here. So it was when I found leaders that were like yourself, who were authentic and real. And, you know, when I first came to Christian International down in Santa Rosa Beach, I felt like I was home. I'm like, I am a daughter from another mother, you know, I'm blending with the white, the black, everything. It was just so awesome. I love it. It was amazing. And I just love what you're doing in your leadership style.
To see what God's doing. You're just launching into your destiny and fulfilling your purpose. And you're just getting started. You're going to be worldwide. God's going to make you very successful and famous, not for your glory, but for his glory, and for your ability to touch people, because they need what you've got. They need what you're sharing with them. And they need to see real people instead of this facade that people put on, or try to tell you how great they are. They don't tell you what they've gone through. I let people know what you see is what I'm transparent as glass. And I let people know you go through things. There's failure,
Right.
there's bankruptcy, there's falling apart, but that's not the end of it. That's just preparing to be the success that you're supposed to be. And God's destined you to be very successful, very effective, and you're going to bless a lot of people. So I'm glad to be a part of with you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Very beautiful. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Hamon, for joining us all the way from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. We are coming to you live from Chi-Town. They are saying that Chicago is one of the worst cities in the country because of its crime rates, but I believe it's a city of wealth. I believe there's greatness in Chicago and that the turnaround is here and that we are having a wonderful time. And I just want to take some time to give a shout out to Brianna, to Ann, to Tosca, to Cindy, to Moina, to Lisa, Rhonda, Valencia, Dana. Thank you all so much for joining us. Anil, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again, Cindy, for joining us. Thank you so much. I see Santa Rosa is in the house. Thank you guys for joining us. California. I see Brazil, China. It is late over there by you all. You're about 9-10 hours ahead of us, but thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for staying up late at night and for joining us. Jamaica, hey, how you guys doing? Yaman, no problem. Awesome sauce. Bahamas, I love your beaches. Thank you for joining us. Chile, wow, okay, awesome. Don't know who you are, but I want to tell you, your life is never going to be the same. You've joined for a reason and you've joined for a purpose. Nothing happens by mistake. Everything is orchestrated and everything is divinely ordered. And so thank you so much for joining us. If you are watching us on YouTube or Facebook Live, go ahead again and just let us know where you're from. If you're just joining us, we have just spoken to the infamous, the great, wonderful father, husband, leader, prophet, and pastor, as well as a bishop, Dr. Bill Hamon. He joined us from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, and stay tuned. You will be hearing from him again later in the show. So thank you so much for joining us week after week. This show is amazing. It's going to change your life. If you are looking for authentic leadership, looking to start something of your own, this is the show. It's going to go viral. It's going to change lives. I know there's a lot of people that are watching, and I thank you so much for watching week after week. We have such amazing guests that has been joining us, and this is the show that is needed on earth. I answered the call. The FCC was looking for more authentic shows, more shows about reality and the real life, shows about leadership, shows about relationships, shows that help to build people, not bad news, but the great news, because there is goodness within people. We are not all bad. America is not full of turmoil. It is just what the media is showing. But I want to show you a different side of media, that there are greatness that lies within this country. It is still the greatest country in the world, and we still have great leadership here. We are still the country that help with humanitarian efforts. We help Africa, we help Israel, we help China. We are still an organization in a country that can help other people. So we are still great. There's greatness here. And there's still people that want the American dream. And the dream is here. We have great leaders that are running our country. We have great leaders that are running our schools, our churches, and it's not all bad. In fact, my show will be able to emphasize some of those awesome leaders who are living by the principles and character of what we were created to be. And so one of those individuals, she was in the educational system. She was going through doing the public school system, just doing her normal routine, until one day she had an epiphany, an aha moment. And she decided that she was going to start her own school. You heard me correctly. She said she was going to start her own school. And we have with us Dr. Helen Griffith, who is the president and founder of E3 Civil High School, all the way from San Diego, California. And I just happened to go to California recently. First time in my life. I was terrified because I thought it was going to have an earthquake the minute I got there. And so I was terrified, but I happened to be embraced by a lovely organization and some lovely people from Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And one of those women was Dr. Griffith. And she, again, is from San Diego, California. So welcome all the way from sunny San Diego. How you doing, Dr. Griffith?
I'm wonderful. Enjoying sunny San Diego.
Awesome, awesome.
Again, Dr. Carolyn, you are so amazing, and I'm glad to be a part of this show that's showing the role models throughout our nation, throughout our world, so that we can change lives together.
Yeah, thank you. That was so special. You guys are blessing me tonight. So thank you so much. So you are the founder, executive director, and president of E3 Civil High School, which you started
Civic,
right on your own. Civil High School or Civic. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. CIVIC.
That's it.
Okay, which you started on your own, and you know, I'm sure with the help of a team. But I want you to tell people, because there's audience members that are watching today who they see, and this is the plethora of a leader. You have to see a problem and become a solutionist, right? And so you saw a problem within the system, and you were educated enough and intellectual enough to say, you know what? I have the ability, I've been gifted with the gift of creativity, of knowledge. I went through and got, you know, your doctorate degree. You've gone through schooling. And so you saw something that you could make a difference. And you did just that. I was blown away by the excellence and the media attention and how people are talking about your school. And I want to give you a chance to speak about it, because I can't speak about it like you can. So tell the people who you are and what this school is all about. You have the floor.
Well, thank you for having me, number one. I'm honored to be on the air with these amazing leaders and with you, to talk about just a little bit of our story, to share our journey, that it might be an encouragement to so many. First, I want to thank you for having your vision and for bringing it together, because without a vision, this would not be here. So thank you for that. And I want to send kind words and positive thoughts and prayers to Dr. Buchanan Wilson, who wasn't able to make it today. I am a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, where she leads us in doing amazing things in that organization. And I want to send her positive thoughts as she's sharing today with her staff and providing healing for her. So thank you for having us today. But in terms of my journey, it has been an awesome experience to actually have opened 3 schools. I am a 3rd generation educator. My mother was a teacher principal, and my grandmother was a teacher. They are from the Deep South, Mississippi, where I was actually born, but raised in California. I was there 6 long weeks. So I have Southern traditions because my mom instilled those values in us, the value of education, that education was the way out. It's, as a matter of fact, it's empowerment. It's one of the 3 E's of E3 Civic High, which is engage, educate, and empower. And as I had the opportunity to bring a vision together that I believe would change the lives of young people, I had a chance to open Lincoln High School with a team of educators in San Diego. Back in 2007, we opened a school, a $150 million campus with a new facility. I was there 6 short months, and then I was asked to apply for another position to open Millennial Tech Middle School, which was a magnet for 6th through 8th grade. And we sent home computers with every scholar, 500 scholars, as one of the models for San Diego in educational technology. In our first year, we were high performing. In our first year, we saw growth in test scores. We saw growth in leadership. We were in the inner city of San Diego, educating scholars of color. Predominantly 79% of our scholars were scholars of color. And we made a transformational change in our community. As a matter of fact, the community that I grew up in, I walked the same streets. I played in the same playground. It was my neighborhood where I had the opportunity to go and open 2 new schools for students of color, to give them opportunity to study in the STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We raised the level of females who were going into STEM courses. Hopefully they're going into STEM communities now and into college majors because of that experience. And then I got the opportunity to apply for this position with a nationwide search for E3 Civic High. There was a team of individuals that saw the need for a high-performing school in downtown San Diego and an innovative school that would really meet the needs of these centennials, as you have called them, this generation of our digital natives who are born with cell phones in the crib, who Snapchat, who tweet, who are on Facebook or on Instagram, who really use that digital device as their right hand. We created this school back in 2013. I was hired after an international search for this position to open the school, to finish the facility. We're the only school in the nation to coexist inside a $185 million library, a 9-story literary marvel. There are more than 1.4 million resources available to our scholars free of charge. They get to come into this.
So I love it. You call them scholars, not students. And that's what sets you apart. And to be great leadership, and to be great leadership.
I see the shout out. Hi, Julia, my daughter's online.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, you had to give a shout out. Go ahead, give your shout out.
And she's an amazing young lady. She's working for the American Heart Association and their youth marketing department, bringing good health and education to scholars of her age group and have them live a better life. So I'm really proud of her, and I'm so glad she's watching. I have 2 other amazing scholars and a fabulous husband. Well, we'll get into that at the next one.
You do have a fabulous husband, and he's international. That's what I love about him. Yeah. So I noticed that you didn't call, and that's what sets you apart. And just like with Dr. Hamon, they have set themselves apart by creating what we call the 5-fold ministry, which, a lot of people have known about pastors for a while and ministers, but it's already existed, but just formulated in the way. And so you don't call them students, which I love, because you have to have a niche. You can't be and fit into everything that everyone else has, right? And for you to have a school within a learning organization, which is a library, and it's not just any library, it is state of the art.
Yes,
it's high tech, and it's, you have your own floor. In fact, people have to really pay to come and do a tour. Normally you can do a tour, but yeah. And I'm excited that I'm going to be there soon, right? And just kind of talking and sharing. And so tell us how it was in the beginning when you were started this, because leadership sometimes can be lonely. And sometimes when you are been given a vision, because I know I've cried many times, I love being on, I was on the Steve Harvey show, Fox, Dr. Nandy, all over it, going into 80 million homes. And I love it. I love to travel in, green room and treat it like high class, and the airplanes, and talk on the show and be fed well. And then I go home, right? But now I got to do my own. So now I'm the host. So I have to invite the guests. And I asked God if he was sure. I said, are you sure? I said, let's make a deal, but I never win. You never win with him. He always gets his way. So what was it like for you starting in the trenches? Because it couldn't have been easy.
No, it wasn't easy. As a matter of fact, not only was it lonely, I was alone.
Oh, wow.
I was hired as the sole founder to actually do everything that needed to be done to open the school on time, on budget, and with enrollment for scholars. We were selling a promise.
Right.
The scholars, nor their parents had even seen inside of the building. The library was still under construction. Right. When I took the position, I walked into the building. I could see from wall to wall, and I had to hold up the blueprints to actually envision what was going to be. Where would the walls be? Where would they sign in? Where would they sit? Where would they study? And we had to envision all of this. And so I say to those who are ready to be leaders or thinking about it, you have to be a visionary. It has to start with a vision. And a vision is something that you can't always see with your naked eye. You have to see it with your mind's eye. Yep. You have to see it with faith. And you have to believe that if someone did it before you, you can do it as well. Right. So I walked into this position, and I had to not only finish the construction of a $10 million tenant improvement project. I was working along with the library and the construction workers, Turner Construction, to finish the building of $185 million, and working with the city of San Diego, as well as the San Diego Unified School District. And then on top of that, I had to recruit all of our staff. We call them learning facilitators.
Right.
And we do that deliberately, just like we call our scholars, our student scholars, we're planting seeds. Right. And we're making a deliberate declaration that the teachers, or formerly known as teachers, are here to facilitate the learning of students who are scholars, who are intelligent, who are brilliant, who are curious, who have answers to the problems that they're going to solve for this next generation.
Right.
We established that declaration not only in our adults and parents, but also in the scholars themselves, that you are brilliant beyond measure. There's nothing that you cannot accomplish without hard work, dedication, grit, integrity, honesty, compassion, and all of those characteristics that we teach them are a value here at E3 Civic High.
Beautiful, beautiful. I just love it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I love.
Yeah, it was difficult in the beginning because I was alone, and I really had to rely on past experience. I had to rely on my preparation, all of my studies and doctoral work. But most of all, since I can say it on the show, I had to rely on prayer and on faith that God could do what he had called me to do, which was open this school on time and deliver a world-class education to scholars who were well beyond deserving for the next level in their lives.
Absolutely. And it's what I love about your school, because this is one of the things our show is about diversity. And you have, in San Diego, it's diverse anyway. You have Hispanics, you have whites, you have Blacks, you have those who are from different classes, meaning as far as class and financial means. And, you know, and you have, and they come together, but when they come together, they're all scholars, right? Because there's a author that said, potential is there for everyone, but not opportunity. And so what you have given your scholars is an opportunity to see school in a different light. I love things that are different. You know, when I was getting ready to start the show, I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to have and show those that are famous and those who are leading, but also those who are the hidden heroes. And so I happen to be going to the Miss America pageant in a few weeks, but I'll leave from there and go interview some of the wives of those who died in 9/11, because they're the hidden heroes. You know, people like to talk about what happened on that day, the firefighters, and granted, all that is perfect. But what about the spouses that were left with the children? To me, they are the heroes, because they have to carry on. And so this is one of the reasons why I wanted to also bring your school on, because enrollment is amazing for you. There's about 20 spaces left if you are interested in being a part, if you're in the San Diego area, or if you're planning to move. They're trying to get me to move to San Diego. Helen is one of them. She was like, you need to move. And people are trying to get me to move to Florida. And so I want you to know this is an amazing school. It's highly position you for a place of leadership. It will position you for a place of technology, to be technologically savvy, because whether we want to join into the technological world or not, for instance, this show is being broadcast through technology. You got to get with it. This is the net that has to be cast on the other side, the internet. That's what we're going to use to bring in those that we can't reach by hand or by foot, but we can bring them in through social media and through social spaces. And this is exactly what E3 Civic High School is doing by pushing forth and making a difference in the community. And it's becoming it's a trendsetter. In fact, I asked her to teach me so I can create a school, and she can, of course, be the one to oversee it and help us to be executive directors, because, you know, our public school system is just not working the way it is supposed to. And so we have found different means of educating where you are able to introduce that level of excellence. I'm so excited for you and so grateful that you're doing this, and we wish you all the best and know it shall be best. And we just thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you so much for, if you're interested in learning more about Dr. Griffith and the school, E3 Civic High School, you can log on to what is the website again?
E3civichigh.com.
E3civichigh.com. And you can find all the resources there. Beautiful, wonderful pictures. I was looking at those today. Again, just a diverse background, because that's what we need today. Society is trying to split us apart and to bring back history with the division, with race and color and all these movements. But if I have anything to do with it, if I know who I actually serve, we are going to bring unity in this country. It is the United States of America. It is not, it was created through unity. It was created through a diverse background, whether it's Indians, Blacks, whites, Hispanics, Puerto Ricans. We are united, and united we stand, divided we fall. But we are going to be, your school is one of those who will help to push forth that unity and to set a stand that it can be done, right? Nothing is impossible. In fact, the word impossible says impossible. So nothing is impossible. So thank you so much. Hang on. We're going to have questions for you at the end. So don't leave us. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Griffith. And we will go right in. So you have just heard from Dr. Helen Griffith, the director, executive founder, president for E3 Civic High School in San Diego, California. Monet Sante, you said, Dr. Carolyn, I love your energy. Thank you so much. I have asked God, I said, please keep me this young for the rest of my life. Renew my youth like an eagle, because I felt like I was robbed for some of my years, really. I had so many losses from, trying to have children. We experienced so many losses, and it was so traumatic for us. And so we are now just living our life with our awesome 3 children and just pushing forth. And so I want to stay young. So thank you. I love the energy. And this is just the beginning, because we're gearing up and getting ready to take the show on the road. We're going to be traveling and doing some shows in different sites. Like I said, I'll be in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Never been to Jersey. And Atlantic City, Jersey, I'm going to be at the Miss America pageant. I have backstage to do the Dr. Carolyn Show. And so I'll be there with Miss America. Yeah, I am Miss America, by the way. They just don't know it. But I'll be there with the wonderful 52 ladies from the 52 different states, interviewing them. And I'll get to show you. We can't live stream. We can only record. So I'm really excited about that, and going over to see the White House and 9/11 as well, around the same area. Washington, D.C., Maryland, New Jersey area. So, all right. Okay. So we have, time for a break. Sweet. Awesome. So again, this is me, Dr. Carolyn G. Anderson, and I have coming out pretty soon, October 10th. So 10/10, I'm coming out with my newest book, The 10 Laws of Leadership. I am going to be talking about how he leads, how she leads, and how they lead together. I also am going to be talking about the different leadership styles: transformational leader, transactional, situational, a servant leader, leaders that do not want to have followers. Can you believe that? I've spoken to leaders who do not desire to have followers. And like I said on the top of this broadcast, that person is just taking a walk in the park. But we have Mrs. Obama is one that is being interviewed to talk about her leadership style and what was it like to lead in the second seat, because she was in essence the second seat, because he was the president at the time, was in the first seat. And so we're going to be talking to leaders and how men lead differently from women. However, what happens when they lead together, not just in the home, but in the organizations? It is so beautiful, because women tend to have a gut feeling that men don't have, but men tend to be more direct and straight to the point, where women sometimes, we like to tell a whole lot of story behind the story, and men just get to the point, stop the crying. So I'm just really excited about this book, talking about some of the laws and some of the things about when you want to be a leader. First thing is you got to be authentic. You must be real. You must understand your purpose. And so I'm really excited about this book coming out on 10/10, just in time for Christmas, just in time for leadership, just in time for a lot of the fall season when people tend to get depressed. We're going to be talking about leadership and authenticity. All right. So you can pre-order that book at CarolynGAnderson.com, and your pre-ordered copy will be autographed by me. I wrote a book last year about healing in your health, your finances, your faith, and your relationships. That book was released on 12/12 last year. It went international bestseller in 1 hour. Not just national, but internationally, because we need to be healthy, and we do need healing in our lives, especially in our faith, our finances, and our relationships. And so if you're just joining us, you are speaking with Dr. Carolyn on the Dr. Carolyn Show, and we're coming to you live and direct. We're talking today with presidents, and we're talking about understanding your purpose, about leadership on the line. What is leadership today? We are defining leadership as being authentic, as being having a following, as being understanding your true purpose and your true calling. And we've heard from Dr. Bill Hamon from Christian International. He hails from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, Sunshine State, which I was just in. I love Florida. And we also recently just heard from Dr. Helen Griffith, who is founder, executive director, and president of E3 Civic High School, from all the way from San Diego, California, another sunny place. The sun does shine in San Diego and in Sunshine State, Florida. And finally, we have our guest with us who hails from Montana. I don't know if it's hot in Montana, but she's from Montana, and she's Elise Leininger, and she is the president of the Spirited Women Academy. And today I'm going to be speaking with Elise from a perspective of network marketing. She is a leader in that space. And so we've heard from Dr. Hamon, who is a leader in the church world and also in the business sector and in the areas of education. We've heard from Dr. Griffith, who is leading and taking a path down in education, but education from a different level of scholarship and a level of success and a level of technology. And now we have Elise, who is a leader in the Level, I think I'm saying that right, or Laval company. It's a network marketing company, and they have a particular product called the Thrive Experience. And I met Elise about 5 years ago, and her story captivated me. And so I want to welcome Elise to the show. Thank you for joining us from, is it sunny in sunny Montana? Thank you for being here. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you for having me tonight.
Awesome. Awesome. So I met Elise about 5 years ago. We were both members and attendees of a conference. They were talking about, being a leader, about entrepreneurship, about how to become debt free and how to manage and do budgeting and financing. And she shared a story with me. She said, I have packed up my stuff, and my husband and I have hit the road, and we are living an amazing life. She travels school, kind of like homeschool her children, but travels with her. And she just took a leap of faith and just stepped out of where she was and the space where she was, and her husband as well. And they went into this new life, network marketing, the space of marketing, which is huge right now especially for network and for internet and for social media. And you stepped into that, and I never forgot you, because it made me think, like, if she did it, I can do it too. I can just step out and go do this. And, she makes really great financial money from doing what she does. And so I want to welcome you to the show, and thank you for joining us. And you bring a different perspective to the show, and that's why I wanted you to be on here, because your following is virtual. You do have leaders and people that are under your guidance that are local, but you have a huge following and a huge customer base that is international as well as national. So I want you to talk about that. How did that come about?
Well, it came about through the realization that I had been called to leadership, like we've been talking about this hour, and resisting it, but then feeling the push as we were so deep in debt, and which brought me to the conference where you and I so divinely sat next to one another and built a friendship. And there's reason for that. So I had to trust that God had a purpose for me, and that I was called, and that I needed to just get out of my own way. Stop listening to our culture. Stop listening to those around me. Stop listening to the media. If I had subscribed to that, then I would just be a homeschooling mom in Montana, not really creating much impact. But instead, as a result of the friendships that I've built and these virtual businesses that I've built, and been able to leverage the opportunity to live wherever we desire, having lived on the road in an Airstream travel trailer for a year with our German Shepherd and 2 boys, while we traveled the US, learned the history, learned the geography, met with our network. I mean, anything is possible. Whatever you set your mind to, you can achieve it, but you have to start with the belief and taking the leap of faith, and then taking the daily inspired action. So as a result of me doing that, we have built a phenomenal network in network marketing. I've also built a success coaching business, international scale, and I have been blessed to be a blessing to others. So I always subscribe to 12 too. And that has always been one of my guiding principles for building my business and giving big and creating impact. So I love the story that we just heard about building a school in San Diego, because I'm passionate about education. So right now I'm passionate about a project building schools in Pakistan for the poorest of the poor, and just wrapped up building schools in Nicaragua, and also for the poorest of the poor. I just believe I'm called to do that. And so through leveraging the internet and these opportunities that we have at our fingertips, literally, you can do anything. And as a result, you can give big and create impact in ways that you never imagined possible. Because I will tell you, I never imagined that I would be doing what I'm doing when I was growing up.
Wow. Wow. Yes. And so right at the point when we met, you were telling me about how much debt you were in. In fact, that was one of the reasons why we were there, right? To learn how to become debt free. And you were able to take off and make the millions and pay off your debt. And I think you sold your home, correct? You sold the home and you went on the road in the trailer just to adventure. I'm just like, wow, you know, and you had the boys loved it. You know, the puppy, the dog loved it too, because as long as they have somewhere to go outside, they don't care, right? And you just did that, and you traveled the country, and you got to experience life in a different realm. So you are in that leadership role where you're on the move, you're on the go. And at any given time, someone can call you, one of your team members that's from somewhere, you know, other than Montana. They are globally. And so have you noticed that there is a different, you're building a school in Nicaragua and now in Pakistan. So have you noticed that people are hungry for growth and leadership in other cultures than in the United States?
Hungrier?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say?
Yes. Are they more
I would say in a sense, because I believe comfort kills our pioneering spirit. Like, we have all of our basic needs met. And so what tends to happen is people become very apathetic. So rather than thinking to yourself, in the past, you know, you had to meet these basic needs to survive. And there was expansion here in the US anyway, this Western expansion and this exploration of this great nation. And now it really is an exploration of self, an exploration of impact that you can create, and your ability to cultivate these pieces of yourself that take work. Like, you need to be present in the moment. You need to be reflective. You need to set a course and follow a plan for success, because when you don't, you're just adrift and you just fall prey to our cultural conditioning and what the media wants to feed you. Like you were saying earlier, the media is not all negative, but when they can keep you scared, you tend to buy more.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. And like I was saying that, you know, the FCC, who oversees all communications throughout federally, they had put out a call because they were just so tired of the stuff that was on TV, the negativity, and it was, a lot of people were committing suicide. And there's a lot of fear, you know, in our nation and because people are looking to the United States as the leadership country. And I am glad that we're taking back that position, you know, to say we are leaders, we are united, and we are going to stand together, and we are going to make this. We're just going through our low moment. You kind of hit rock bottom, right? But that means we're going to go really far. And so you've mastered that space of network marketing. You also have your coaching business. You help women to understand their true purpose, and you do it with class, and you do it also from a spiritual perspective, because no one can tell you your purpose but God, the creator, because he is the one that know before you were born what you're going to be. But he also gave us free will. And so he can't come down and say, hey, this is what you got to do. We are able to map out our purpose by the choices that we make every single day. And so you've made the choice that I want to explore with my family. I want to have the finances so you can have influence, not so you can just, be on the yachts and the ships and all that kind of stuff. That's all great also, you know, because I'm heading for my private jet. That's what I want. It's on my vision board. With the rate I'm going, I don't have time for Delta. No connections. No way. I got spaces to go. You know what I'm saying, Elise? I got to go. So that's what I'm looking forward to, my private jet. I want all the stuff that the president have on his, you know, all the bedding and the phone calls and the Wi-Fi. I won't have to be on a plane that says no Wi-Fi. He'll say,
yeah, right.
Carolyn. You know, so I'm looking forward to that. And me and Bishop going to be going to countries, right? Bishop all over the world. So thank you so much, Elise, for sharing your perspective of leadership. And I want those that are watching to know that, look at her. She did this. This is a mom, a wife, an entrepreneur that had no, you know, a lot of people are looking for certainties. There is nothing that is certain. Nothing is sure. Your tomorrow is not even promised. And so would behoove you to live out your authentic purpose today, because that is what you have. Make a decision today. Jump over the line, step into your purpose, walk into who you are, and make a decision that from this day, from 8/14, from this, whenever you're watching, if it's tomorrow, if you're watching the broadcast, from this day, the minute you hear this, I'm making a decision that I'm going to live out my authentic purpose, my authentic self, and I will seek, search, and find. You can get Dr. Bill Hamon's book, Who Am I? What is My Purpose? So that you can have a guide to understand who you truly are. If you have a calling for education, for something different, then you can make that impact and make a difference. I wanted to be in the marketplace. I wanted to take who I am as a Christian and bring that to the marketplace, bring that to the media, let people know that you can serve God and still laugh. You can serve him and still go to the movies. I'm going to the movies tomorrow. I don't know where they came up with this religious stuff, but you can be, it's a life of freedom. It's a life of where you are sure that if you leave this earth, you have somewhere that you are going, and that is not down, but it's rather up. And so as we're coming to the close of the show, I want to thank you so much for joining us today, but I'm going to give you a chance to hear from our guest again. We're going to start with Dr. Bill Hamon, again, all the way from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. I want you to share, Dr. Hamon, 2 things that you would like the audience to know if they're seeking to find their purpose, if they're growing in leadership, if they've hit rock bottom, or if they're struggling or have come to this place where life is plateaued and they have nowhere else to go or nothing to do. Sometimes we may never know. One word from you can change a person's life from taking their own life, or from, you know, going in the path of depression or going down. And so I want you to leave 2 inspiring messages and words today with the viewing audience and those that will watch us later of what they can do today to shift, transform, and elevate their lives. You have the floor, sir.
One is you just can't lose faith. As I said, during my lifetime, over the last 64 years, and the first 30 years especially, we zeroed out 3 times, but I just held steady. I didn't fall apart. I didn't quit. I didn't get angry at God. I just held in steady and steadfast, and God brought us over there. There's what scripture says, you have need of patience, that after you've done the will of God, you receive the promise. And you have to press on in. So I would say just hold steady. And the last chapter hasn't been written. I remember I was down so low that I said, God, if surely there's something I could do for you. Surely there's a ministry. And I was just weeping and crying to God. But, you know, I had to stay true. It took 2 or 3 years, but it came back up. And I want you to know God has a future for you, and there is something for you to do, and you will fulfill it. And that patience and that faith, and they keep hanging in there. I've in my 64 years, I've seen so many people that have fallen apart, given up, and quit, and they never make it. But if you press on and you hang in there, God's going to open up the door. You're going to come through victorious, and you're going to see that you are going to succeed. I'm a living testimony that you can see rolled out 3 times, and no hope, no future, no resources. It's all gone. But you just hold steady in faith in God. I'm going to make it. I'm, by the grace of God, I'm coming through, and I'm going to succeed. Your success is ahead of you, and your brightest days are before you. So press on. God's going to see you through. Don't give up. There is a future and a hope for you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Just amazing. So you heard Dr. Hamon says to hold on. There is a future for you. There is success. And the gateway and the pathway to success is to serve. And so if you've been serving and you've been serving faithfully, then success is knocking at your door. A lot of people like to lead, but you got to serve first before you can step into that position of leadership. And he has just told you to hold on. Your servitude and what you are doing is not in vain. The reward is coming. You shall get that crown, because you're not going to go through serving and doing such great things only to fall flat on your face. That is not how God has created you and created mankind, and he's not that kind of a person. So thank you, Dr. Hamon, for sharing those words of wisdom and nugget. You're so young, so strong, and there's so great life ahead for you, and I can't wait to see you in October when I join you down there in Florida. And now we'll go to San Diego, California. Dr. Helen Griffith, same thing. If you would leave a couple words of nuggets to the viewing audience who may be looking to start a school, or perhaps they are looking to say, hey, I want to start a business. What would you tell them that they should do right now, today? Because this show is about transformation. There's no time to wait. You just got to activate and do the things now that you're hearing, because once you wait, something will come and snatch that away. So go ahead.
Well, I just want to encourage the viewers to let them know that we are ordinary people who choose to do extraordinary things. And you are that person who is ordinary, just like we are on this show tonight, but you are designed to do extraordinary things. I want to first encourage you to get a vision for your life. Write it down, even if it's on a Post-it, on a piece of gum wrapper, on a piece of a torn up paper. Write down the vision, because when you write down the vision, you can see it, you can make it plain, then you can begin to run with it. And then make sure that vision is focused around your passion, what you love to do, what keeps you up at night, what makes you smile in the morning, what makes you go when you're tired and you're on your last little set of energy. Find sure and make sure that it's in your place of passion. Once you find that vision, you write it down, you attach it and align it to your passion. Then just like Nike said, just do it. Just do it.
Beautiful.
Sure what to do, find some good role models that you can reach out to, people like us. And I'm sure all of us are willing and able and ready to reach out to help mentor and coach you. But find those good role models, reach out to them. People are just waiting to be asked to help you get into your place of passion. I know my why and my purpose is to help as many as I can find their place of purpose. When
Absolutely.
I know I can close my eyes and say, my life was well lived.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. That was well said. So hold on steadfast, according to Dr. Hamon, and hang on in there. And then Dr. Griffith says, you must have a vision. You have to write it. You have to know it, because you don't see with your physical eyes, you see with your mind. And so if you can see it with your mind, if you can just envision what your life can be like, it will manifest if you stay true and you stick to it and you write it down. And she said, you know, we're just ordinary people. I'm just ordinary Carolyn, just doing extraordinary things. And so is each of our guests here. We're no higher or bigger or greater than you are. We just happen to have taken a stand and taken a step and just do it, like she said, for Nike. And then finally, we have Elise, who will share her 2 nuggets that the viewing audience may want to get on the road and buy a trailer and hit it. So Elise, what you got for them?
Oh, that's so great. Well, be still and know that I am God. This is probably one of the most powerful phrases that I've ever applied to my life. And in this world of distraction where I feel like people have even gotten to the point where they don't want to be with their own thoughts. I mean, think about all of the distractions that we have today. And one of your greatest tools is your focus.
Right.
So still, take a deep breath and just be in the presence of God's love. Ask him for the next step. And ask for God to help you hold yourself to the highest ethical standard as you build your business. Because there is no greater fulfilling just purpose that you can live than to live those gifts that God has uniquely blessed you with. I don't have your gifts. Carolyn doesn't have your gifts. None of the guests on the show tonight have your specific gifting. So just slow it down, take a deep breath, check in and ask God for your next best step. It doesn't have to be complicated or scary, because I can guarantee you what he has in mind for you is far greater than you could ever imagine for yourself. So anytime I find myself in a state of confusion or overwhelm, that's where I go.
You step back. Beautiful, beautiful. And this closes it out. What the guest did not know is that I have a university. It's actually called Transform University, and that can be found at CarolynGAnderson.com. And each of the nuggets that you have shared, I actually have a class on each of those. I have one that's called Focus and Get Results. There is one that called Writing Your Vision, Your Mission, Mapping Out Your Goals and Your Dreams, and Focusing Your Results is one that you can actually download that for free. It's a free ebook, and you can get that for free. How to stay focused, because that was what allowed me to become as successful as I am today. I learned the art, yes, and the essence of how to focus, because the noise is always there, right? It's cluttered, and you have to learn how to focus and how to know what is important to you, because at any given day, you wake up, and if you turn on that TV, if that's what you're using as your guide, it will lead you, and it's not going to lead you down in the right path. And so I've learned the art and the essence of focus. And so all of them shared today. Had no idea that I actually have each one of these courses about how to write your vision, how to do your mission, your vision, your goals, your dreams, your aspiration, and your values, and how to stay ahead of the game, and how to be successful, and how to lead. So I want to thank each one of my guests again. Thank you to our excellent producer, Rob Hix at Rob Hix Media. He's given me the heart. And I want to thank Dr. Bill Hamon, who took such amazing time out of his business schedule, because he's always traveling. He's probably going to be on some plane this week, again, traveling, doing so much. We truly do appreciate you on the Dr. Carolyn Show, the entire team and staff here. Thank you so much for joining us. He is from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. I was going to say California. And it's www.christianinternational.com. You can find tons of resources, conferences, gatherings, books, services, and products that can change and transform your life, because this show is about transformation. We had Dr. Helen Griffith from San Diego, California, who also is an amazing woman. She's the founder of E3 Civic High School, and you can find information at E3Civic, right? .com, and you can still register. School starts next week, Monday coming, and there's about 20 slots that's available for your child to become a scholar, not a student, but a scholar, and for you to excel in the educational realm and to be the best that you can be and be set on a stage and a platform for success. Last week we had Elise from Montana, wonderful state of Montana, who runs a successful coaching business as well as a leader in the space in network marketing. She has taken a leap of faith, and it has proved her to be worthy of her faith, that she stepped into the right space and that she's living out her true purpose and her true calling. And we want to thank also Dr. Dorothy Buchanan Wilson and pray many blessings upon her speedy healing, who was not able to be with us today, but I'm sure she's with us in spirit. She is the international president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Thank you to the team, my family, my friends, the viewers, especially to you. I do need you to continue sharing, hashtagging. The guests will rewatch and answer some of your questions and your comments, because they will see the feed. They will answer you personally. They will also share their website so that you can follow them as well. And join us again next week, Monday, same time, same place, live from Chi-Town, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. I want to thank you so much for watching us and for hanging on with us today. Again, I need your ratings. I need your hearts. We need the show to be syndicated and to be on network television coming January 8th, 2018. That's the day that we are targeted. And so we are excited and happy that do not despise these small beginnings. I do not take them as lightly, because if God can start, Christendom with 12, he can do it with just us that are on here and those that are watching. And so I'm excited. I don't get all caught up into numbers, but the producers and the networks, they do. So I do need you to like it. I need you to share it. I need people to continue to follow, because numbers is what speak for them. And so we need this great awesomeness to be on television to continue to go forth. And we do need these positive role models and these excellent leaders that you heard from today to continue down their path. So support their business, support their organization, go to their website, buy the products, get the transformational tools. And until we meet again, have a great evening. And remember, your current circumstances that you are going through today does not define your destiny. You have a choice. Choose well.